Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think that is from Michelle. So I'm adopting Michelle word. Welcome to Roseburg Speaker and Storytellers. Let's get started. Just one things about technical stuff. If we don't speak, please mute your microphone. So we have a very good environment in that case. Today, our Toastmaster of the day. Oh, Alice, you are very beautiful today with that flower dress. So let's welcome Alice Saviri.
Hi, you. Thank you. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Is there a new beginning in your life that scares you, but you know at the same time that it will make you feel good? For me, it was to take the huge risk to become a Toastmaster. It was scary. When I started, it was still scary, but now it is more exciting and less scary because it makes me feel good. Let's start our meeting today with our grammarian, who is Deza Stanley. Deza, would you like to share with us some new beginning in your life? And also let us know about your role and the word of the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. A new beginning in my life. I have quite a relevant example. I just moved into a new apartment, and I was moving from my grandmother's house where I would visit ever since I was very young during Christmas and summer vacation. And that's the reason why I moved to the Pacific Northwest here in the United States. And that house has been sold, and I've moved into another place away from the house that gave me so much anticipation for Christmas and for all the summer activities when I would come visit. But now I'll have to make new memories and new things to anticipate and be excited for. My role as grammarian is to pay attention to the good use of English and provide constructive feedback for improvements. At the end of the meeting, I will present my report. I will also be monitoring the use of the word of the day. The word of the day is to help fellow members enrich their vocabulary and preparing their speeches. For this meeting, the word of today is reciprocate, which means to respond to a gesture or action by making a corresponding one. Respond in turn, respond in kind, respond in like. For example, I would like to reciprocate Alice's warm welcome by welcoming her today, and that's it. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Deza. And now let's go to our counter, which is Sarah, I believe. Sarah, would you like to share with us a new beginning of your life?
Thank you, Alice. For me, a new beginning means close a cycle, maybe a project or a moment in your life that you need to close and then start over again. And you can do it as many times as you need. Just start again. Take a breath, and then continue. And in today's meeting, my role will be to pay close attention to anyone speaking so that I will take notes of your filler words like and some repetitions. This is gonna be a great challenge for me because I also need to hear that very, very carefully. I will show you a traffic light when I hear something so that you can look at this at the moment you say that and not only at the end with my report. And at the end, I will reciprocate with a report where you can see how well you did and how you can improve for the next time. So back to you, Alice.
Thank you, Sarah. And now let's go to our timer, who is Ayu. Ayu, will you share with us a new beginning of your life?
Yeah, like Sarah said, it's a cycle of what we do. So sometimes we start something many times actually, and almost every day we start something and they finish. It can be very short, it can be long, it can be school like for years, but it also can be we start to gardening and finish in 1 hour. So for me, everything is about starting because start is very important. The next thing is just how we want to finish it. Because sometimes, including me, we don't finish things. Okay, my role is timer, and today I will be using this card, or I can also be using colors with my background. Like I'm trying to scroll up, can be this a screen, as red and as yellow, or I may use this one. But all this means when you hit green, it is the minimum time of your speaking allocate. Sarah, that's nice. And when you hit yellow, it's a medium one between the minimum and the maximum. When you hit red, remember you only have 30 seconds to wrap up. That's my report, and I will give it back to Alice.
Thank you, Ayu. And now let's go to our first session, which is prepared speeches. And we have one speaker, which is Ravi Shankar. His pathway is effective coaching, level 2. Speech 2, understanding your communication style. The title of his speech is Communication Style. Ravi Shankar, Communication Style. Ravi, if you'd like to share with us a new beginning before your speech.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Alice, what you want me to share?
I asked you if you wanted to share with us a new beginning of your life.
Okay. My bad. Sorry, I misheard that. A new beginning of my life. I would say just this week, I've begun exercising much more than I used to in the past. I've been quite a bit of a lazy bum, I might say. So I've decided to get up a little early in the morning and work out. And that's the new beginning. And I'm really excited to have started exercising finally, 4 months into the new year. And I'm hoping I'll be able to continue to do that for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. The title is Communication Style. Ravi Shankar, Communication Style.
Thank you, Alice. Just a small correction there. The title of the speech is communicating style.
Sorry, I didn't see that well. Sorry.
Traditionally, in India, when parents think that their kids have reached a certain age that is considered marriageable age, they are asked to meet other kids, get to know them in a span of anywhere between a few minutes to a few hours to a few days, weeks, or longer. Typically, it is a few minutes. And then they have to decide if they'd like to get married to that other person. I was in a situation like this a few years ago. I was living abroad and I had come to India in order for my folks to set me up with somebody that I'd spend the rest of my life with. Now, because I had a very short vacation, instead of having a lot of time, hours, days, weeks, I only had a few minutes in which I would figure out whether I was ready to get married to somebody else. Looking back now, what I realize is the communicating style that I used or that was used on me by the person I was meeting had a major influence on the kind of person that was chosen to be my partner for the rest of my life. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I'm here today to share a couple of such instances from my life from about 10 or 11 years ago, and the communicating style that was used by people in those instances. One of the first girls that I met that left a really good impression on me, this is how the conversation went. This was me. Hi, I'm Ravi. Really glad to meet you. Hi, Ravi. You know what? I think you've already seen my profile online. What is most important for you to know is I was born in Bangalore. All my schooling, kindergarten, primary, secondary, high school, all of it was in the city of Bangalore. I completed my undergraduate in Bangalore. For the last 6 years, I've been working in, you guessed it right, Bangalore. My parents are from Bangalore. My grandparents are also from Bangalore. Which grandparents, you ask? Well, my maternal grandparents and my paternal grandparents, they're all from Bangalore. Did I mention that my siblings are also all in Bangalore? So you tell me now, Ravi, how long have you been in Hyderabad? Okay, that's fine. I like you, but you know what? I would like you even more if you were to move to Bangalore. So when are you moving? Well, my takeaways from this in understanding the pathways journey and what it is that I heard from this lady was she'd stayed in Bangalore all her life. She wanted to stay in Bangalore all her rest of her life. That is being focused. She'd asked me how long my family had lived in Hyderabad. And she wanted to counter it by saying her family and generations of her family had lived in Bangalore. That, my friends, is being competitive. I like you even more if you move to Bangalore. When are you moving? That, friends, is being results oriented. When somebody is results oriented, when somebody is focused, and when somebody is competitive, that typical communicating style is being direct, just like this lady was. I didn't realize it back then, but now I know how it is that I should communicate if I were to adopt such a style. Did I say yes to this girl? Well, we'll come back to that later. Moving on, there's this other girl that I met. This time, I grabbed the opportunity. I told her all about my love. My love for meeting new people, learning about new cultures. My love for board games and for card games. My love for long walks and hikes all around natural environments. My love for books, my love for movies, my love for music, my love for TV shows, my love for silently correcting people's grammar when I hear them doing a very bad job at it. I'm with you there, Deja. My love for wearing t-shirts with a logo or a message that still stays on till this day, so on and so forth. About having spoken for 5 to 7 minutes, I realized that I delivered an icebreaker speech without a pause, without an ah, without any break in grammar. But I hadn't let this girl sneak in even one single word. Now I realize that my style of communication was the initiating style. I was very sociable with the girl. I was full of enthusiasm, but only to talk about myself. What did I learn from this? Well, the next time I initiate a conversation and I'm sociable, I should be patient enough to let the other person speak as well. I shouldn't think of it as only a Toastmasters speech. That's on a different stage altogether. Looking back now, I also realized that this girl was really patient with me. She didn't interrupt at any point in time when I was gushing away. She kept nodding and acknowledging everything that I said and made me feel that I had somebody who was listening to me patiently. My friends and fellow Toastmasters, this is the manner in which somebody were to communicate. We would call it the supportive style of communication. Well, between these two instances of people that I've talked about, there were many, many more. But these are the two that stood out in my mind, and they still stand out 10 or 12 years since I first bumped into these people. Needless to say, it was the second person that I spoke of that became my partner for the rest of my life. And I realized that not only should I improve my communication style in order to communicate with style and not always be gushing about, but I should also learn from that of others, like my wife's, of being patient and supportive, and therefore also be a better communicator. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Ravi, for your beautiful speech. And now let's go to our second session, which is the table topics. Our table topics master for today is Excel. Excel is a SMED, I believe I say it right. Excel, the stage is yours. Would you like to share with us a new beginning of your life?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Toastmaster of the Day, Alice. Yes, well, fortunately, for a beginning of my life, well, I would like to say in one situation when I realized that I was a workaholic and I couldn't enjoy so much the life. So I decided to stop that and enjoy more moments. That was and I think that we changed that mind. I could have reciprocate also with some friends that they showed me something new, like enjoy the nature for going trekking or going to the mountain area. I think that was a reciprocate moment also and new beginning. Okay, Alice. Well, we can start with some questions. I would like to ask Angela, but I think that she's working and she's not available. But well, maybe Deja, may I to ask? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. That's by Seneca says that. What do you think about this quotation?
Every new beginning is one beginning's end. What do I think about that quote? It makes me think about how if every new beginning is another beginning's end, everything must be circular. Was there one original beginning that did not have an end before it? No, everything is circular. The baby who is born, the life is beginning, but the time in the womb has ended. Before that, the time in the womb is beginning, and the time that of the creation of the DNA in the parents is ending. It just becomes a circle where life begins, ends, life begins, ends. So I agree with your quote that every new beginning is another new beginning's end. And I don't think I would have it any other way. For you to appreciate every new beginning, there has to be an end of a different beginning. If there wasn't, then we wouldn't have the same appreciation of each new beginning. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Deya. Yes, you say great examples where specify and clear this quote. Yes, and I like it how you say it's a circle. Thank you very much, Deya. Jasmine. Oh no, let me go with Kevin. Kevin. I have here I have a question that, well, Alice have asked most of us, but I would like to go with you, Kevin, and say, what was your best beginning?
I'd say the best beginning for me was around when I was 30 years old, about 16 years ago. I'd always wanted to be a big person, you know, with muscles and a good stature and poise and all that, because I didn't really feel like I was getting a lot of respect from people. Everybody always gave me a hard time. So I always wanted to be someone else, you know, a superhero. I finally met a friend that helped me achieve what I wanted to do. He had a workout schedule and he invited me to the gym, and I started lifting weights, and I got into a routine that I really enjoyed. And also, it's not just a matter of working out aggressively with weights, it's also eating aggressively. That's also something I never did before. I never learned how to eat. So that was my new beginning. And all of a sudden, I started making all these significant weight gains in the gym, and I was getting stronger and stronger, and I was lifting heavier and heavier. And around probably when I was about 32 years old, a friend of mine took a picture of me, a Polaroid. And because I'd always looked at myself as a thin person, scrawny and thin, he showed me the Polaroid and I didn't even recognize who I was. I was probably about 242 pounds of muscle, and I didn't even recognize myself. It was so amazing. And I'd say that was the moment when I really started to feel good about myself, and everything else kind of changed. I kind of came into my own. And I noticed that I was communicating better at work and in my personal life, and I was reciprocating better with people and understanding their needs and emotions and all that sort of thing. And I feel like that was the beginning of me being a better person, a stronger character, and just overall a better man. And I've felt good ever since then. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. And yes, you are totally right. How you feel good, how also all around you change also at the same, have good moments. Thank you, Kevin. Shilpa, would you like to participate? Okay. The question is, big journeys begin with small steps. Please share with us any of your big journeys and small steps.
Every little journey starts, every big journey starts with little steps. Have we all heard of it before? Yes, we have. Do most of you believe in it? Sometimes, yes, but times when our faith wavers, we doubt that journey. So, thank you for the question, Excel. I would like to elaborate on my big journey that started with little steps. So I'll I'll circle back to the time and go back to when I wanted to pursue a master's in US. I wanted to do my master's in data analytics from Georgia Tech. And that was my big journey. The little steps, I did not know. The seeds of that were sowed while I was back in India. When I did my MBA and I could not work for a period of time, I still really think that how did my MBA serve me? How did my MBA serve me? How did my education serve me? Or how did my science undergrad serve me? Because I was now into finance. But then when I applied for my master's in data science, all of that tied together. Those were the earlier little steps taken in the past that helped me, not immediately, after a long time, after a long wait, after a long period of doubting those footprints. But yes, it did. So I would say to all of you, the journey might seem long. The footsteps that you take now today might seem small, but they would be reciprocated with the ripe fruit, the fruit as ripe as Tiger shows in his timing. So keep your faith, move on, and back to you, Excel.
Thank you very much. How wonderful sometimes the life is. How you say, I didn't know, but when you make your data science, how all your life goes together. It's wonderful, marvelous when you are in that moment. Thank you very much, Shilpa, for sharing with us that moment. Tiger, would you like to participate? Okay. The question is, it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. Have you ever experienced that kind of magic? What was the magic of one of your beginnings?
What was the magic of one of my beginnings? In 2001, my ex-wife and I decided that we were going to get pregnant. After a year, we found out that she was unable to. So we went through in vitro for 6 months. It didn't work. So during this whole time period, we had the discussion, do we want to have our own kids or do we just want to be parents? And her answer was definitively, I just want to be a mom. So we went through an adoption process. Most people don't understand adoption. In the US, you have the option of open adoption. Open adoption, you put in an application, the birth mother goes through the applications, the birth mother picks who she wants to give her child or children to. So we went through the process. We interviewed with a woman who was having twins. My wife was excited. I was like, are you crazy? We're gonna have twins? She goes, well, I want to have 2 children, so let's just go ahead and get it over with. The birth mother wanted to be very much in the lives of the children. Her and all 3 of us agreed. So she was around often. My sons know their birth mother very, very well. So I kid them, the 4 guys, they have 2 moms. They have no chance. My sons are now 20 years old. They're going to school at Columbia University, which for those of you who don't know is in the Ivy League. They are the first students ever from the town where we live to go to an Ivy League school. So to say that they're doing well is an understatement. So of course I'm very proud of them, but that new beginning changed my life forever. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Wow, what lovely moment. Thank you. Wow, thank you, Tiger. And so very special, emotional. Thank you, thank you, Tiger. Jasmine, would you like to participate? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, Frank Herbert says, the beginning of knowledge is the discovery of something we don't understand. What was your recent discovery?
Okay, the discovery of things that we don't understand, right? Okay. So this is gonna be difficult for me because I believe, and I used to say that we don't discover or we don't invent. Perhaps we discover, but we don't invent. So I always had this argument with people who would say that they had invented something, because I would then put it that everything exists. It exists around us. The moment we get to know about it, the moment we are able to measure it or put a remark on it using science, we call it as invention, but it existed. So we just simply discover things. We don't invent things. And the same logic applied. I had to apply it on myself because I felt that I discovered or I invented the way to, I invented as to how to, make papad work. I know you would not know what papad is, but it's an Indian snack. So I thought that I invented how you can actually make roast papad using your hair dryer and the thing that you use to to straighten your hair, because you need heat to roast papad, and this is a very different instrument. So I thought that I have perhaps invented it. I can go and tell other people that I have invented how to roast papad using your beautifying tool, your hair dryer. But then I was about to sort of copyright it, that I went to YouTube and I realized that there are zillions of videos where people have actually used their hair dryers and hair straighteners to roast the papad. So it's just that I discovered it then, that that's the way I could do it. This is very silly and simple example, but this on a whole means that there are many things around us which we explore and we find we have discovered, but we forget that we could miss it as being invention, which is not. Okay. Thank you for giving me a very tough one. Back to you.
Okay. Yes, great experience. And It is, and well, tries to do that. Yes, and sometimes we can imagine that with the new in internet, sometimes you have a lot of information there. But well, thank you, Yasmin. Alice, would you like to participate?
Okay. Uh, will you ask me or you're muted? You're muted, Excel. I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. The best way to get something done is to beginning. What do you think about this statement?
I believe that this statement is vital in order to do something. And for me, it's more vital because I don't begin. I have this serious problem. Every time I decide for something, I always put it to, I'll do it next week. I'll do it in 2 days. I'll do it next month, next year. And this moment never happens. I wanted to be a Toastmaster for 2 years. I knew how to do it, but I just didn't do it. So I know that it is the most important thing is to begin doing something in order to achieve something you want very much. But I don't know how to begin. Please help me, someone. Tell me, someone, which is the way to begin something when you want it so much. And I don't know what stops me. I believe that it is fear that I won't make it. It is fear that I will stop in some times. It is fear maybe what if I succeed? And then what? I will be famous. I'll be famous, and what I will do then? I don't know what it is, but it stops me. And I believe that there are many people that are like me, and they don't begin. I don't know what to do. I haven't found the answer, but I believe if there is a strong motivation, then it's easier to begin. My strong motivation was that I wanted to speak. So I wanted to become a Toastmaster. It took me only 2 years, but okay. I made it. Thank you, Excel. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Alice, for your comments. And I reciprocate about you say that you don't know how to start. And I think that when you know what to do, that you say many things. I want to do this. I want to do that. I think that is the first step. You did only with things that you're already done. The first step, the first beginning. Just think. And it's wonderful that you have 2 years here and you win in your speech, and you say when you see that it's right, and you did with love when you say to a student. So with that same passion, I'm pretty sure that you will do the next step of beginning to act. Thank you, Alice. Aju, let me ask you. How was your beginning in Toastmasters?
I got a good question. How my beginning in Toastmaster? It was in February 2020. We had no pandemic at that time. I was just finishing, wrapping up my school. Just for your information, I got my bachelor's degree in my 40s. So February was beginning of February, that February 2020. I just finished my final script. And then I joined Toastmasters and then pandemic. So my beginning in Toastmasters was very different with what we have now, online setting. That time everything was offline and we were going, deliver speech on the stage or in front of real people. Well, you are also real. It's just the setting are very different. So I feel lucky that I experienced both in person or live meeting and online. If I want to say which one is better or not, which one is better, both is okay, both is good, both have some strength and some weakness, which is normal in everything in life is like that. Always have two sides. Excel, thank you so much for this question. So I can tell everyone, if you have a chance to be in live meeting, go for it. It's just very different.
Thank you very much, Aju, for that recommendation. Alice, do I have time for another question?
I don't know. Just you for that. You, do we have time for another question?
Yes, please. I think we have, and then the one that's not yet in the temple topic is Ravi and Angela.
Sarah also.
Oh, Sarah. Yeah.
Yes, Sarah.
Angela is listening. I'm not sure if she can. Yeah, but
okay.
Sarah is also there.
Yes.
Oh, Angela, so she's actually joining from work, so she just disconnected. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let me go with Ravi. Ravi, let me ask you, Ravi, the same question as made with Tiger, that it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginning. What was the magic of one of your beginnings?
Toastmaster Ishel. Magic of one of my beginnings. If I think back, I would say joining meetings of Roseburg speakers and storytellers is something that I began during the pandemic. Although I had been attending Toastmasters events and club meetings for quite some time, and both in person as well as virtually, I don't think I ever have come across any other set of people who are as diverse as the people in Roseburg and who have been able to reciprocate the kind of feelings that I have for Toastmasters. I've seen that much more here than anywhere else. And I've learned a whole lot from each and every one of you. And I'm very glad And I think I will say this again I'll keep saying this again and again, for the rest of my time with Toastmasters and for the rest of my life. I'm really glad that I got introduced, to the Toastmasters community, specifically at Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers. So thank you very much once again, all of you. That's a new beginning that I would want to continue. And I wish, despite everything that has a beginning having an end, I wish this never ever ends. Thank you. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Ravi, for that moment. Sarah, now let me ask you. Okay, in our life, sometimes we are down, sometimes we are up, and as they just say that the beginning is a circle. We end and we start. Could you share with us in some moment that you fail and you stand up again and start new things that changed your life, or something that also was magic in your life to start to begin?
Thank you, Itchel, for that question. For sure, there are moments in life where you feel that you are up, and in other times you are down. But the important thing here is to learn from those moments where you are down, so that at the end, when you have this learning, you don't feel like you are really down, but you use that learning to move forward. And in my life, in my professional life, I have had some moments where I think, oh, that project or that job was not really for me. I don't want to keep doing this. So I quit and start something new. At the beginning, it felt like it was a mistake. I don't have to learn something new again. What am I doing? But after some time, it felt again like something positive. It was good that I started something new instead of doing that I didn't like before for many years. Just as Shilpa said, it ties together, but not immediately. You need to wait. So my philosophy in life is learn from those tough moments, take those learnings and move forward. Always learn, do new projects, not being afraid of trying new things, and you will see how everything ties together in the future. So back to you, Itchel.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you very much for all recommendations. Yes, it's great also how to begin in that moment when you feel that you are not in that part. And as you say in the beginning, maybe you say, oh, maybe I make a wrong choice, but as you said, no, wait. And that's recommendation for wait and learn. Thank you very much for that, Sarah. Okay, I think that if we can go back with you, Alice.
Thank you, Excel. And now it's time for our third session, which is evaluations. And Shilpa is our general evaluator. Shilpa, the stage is yours.
Thank you, our beautiful Toastmaster of the day, Alice. This is a good opportunity for me to reciprocate on how the proceedings of the meetings were today. You all delivered, and I give my feedback. I give my feedback because it helps me improve as well. It taught me to pay attention to minute details and the larger events happening throughout the meeting. And that is why the feedback session is so important, the evaluation is so important. In Toastmasters, as in life, whether the beginnings are new or old. Coming to the speech of the day by Ravi Shankar, I really liked it. It brought me back memories of my courtship days, and it was like rewinding my story all over again. To evaluate his speech, I would like to bring upon Kevin as his evaluator. The stage is yours, Kevin.
Thank you, Ravi. That was a very wonderful speech, very inspiring. I believe the speech project met the requirements and the objectives, very important. Overall content of the speech I really enjoyed and I was inspired by, and it's a tool that we can all use on how we can communicate with our spouse or potential spouse. And also, it's better to be effective listeners as well. That's a very good point. And it also helps us in our daily life at work and in personal life. I thought it was a very effective delivery right from the beginning. It captured our attention and our interest because I guarantee it's probably a topic that everybody can relate to, especially using the examples you did about choosing a spouse or choosing a partner for life. You know, that's very important. It's very important to learn everything you can about that person in order to make that decision. And I've had that experience too, where I've been on a date, you know, and I've tried to communicate and it just never really worked out. So we all can use that kind of training. I really enjoyed in the first minute and a half of your speech where you transitioned and started the dialogue. You kind of little bit of play acting between you and the person that you're talking to. You did that little dialogue, you know, this is me, this is them, you know, it kind of a little bit of play acting. I really enjoyed that. That was kind of interesting, kind of brought some interest to the table there. As far as your vocal variety, I'd say it was very good. The clarity of your speech, you spoke very concise. We understood. We stayed focused and we paid attention the entire time. I mean, you captured my attention, especially with the effect of pausing. I really enjoyed the pausing. That captured my full attention on you. The eye contact, I say, was fairly good. As far as you seemed very comfortable when giving the speech. You were very engaging, and you were very passionate about the topic that you were discussing, the examples you gave. As far as improvement and all that, maybe some visual aid. I don't know. Visual aid is always good, I think. But other than that, I think it was a very effective speech, and it was very well done. And it was a topic, like I said, it was a topic we could all relate to, you know. So with that being said, overall, well delivered, well spoken, and it captured our attention. And it was very entertaining as well. And we can all learn from it. So back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kevin, for that detailed evaluation. Yes, it's always a good idea to have some visual aid, captures the interest of the audience instantly. If I may, I would like to add to this that a stronger call to action at the end, Ravi, for the audience would have enhanced the speech. And today, because we have more time, I can propose two things here. If Ravi is okay, we can take a quick 31 feedback from anyone who is interested, do a round robin. Or the second option would be, Ravi says yes, but my second option would have been evaluation of the table topics, if someone would have liked to do that. So I think Ravi is okay with the round robin. We'll do a quick, each person gets about less than 1 minute to give their feedback on Ravi's speech. I would like to call upon one of the best evaluators here, Yasmin, first to do that. And I would request Tiger to time her for a minute.
Okay. My advice to Ravi is the same, which I have had also previously given him for evaluation. You try humorous style. That's your style. You are trying to engage audience through humor. So, with humor, I have learned it from Tiger that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but you still have to give pause for the audience to understand that this is a humor and they should laugh at. So that is one thing. And I'm coming from Indian background, so I can understand some couple of things. I can relate it, but I'm not sure if others were also on the same page. Like, for example, the expectations around an arranged marriage, these matchmakings that works and how quickly it works, like, being in Bangalore. So little bit of way you will have to play as to how you can make it more generic for anyone to just capture it. I think we can ask our non-Indian friends if they have some observation on that. Thank you. Back to you, Shilpa.
Thank you, Yasmin. I would now call upon Sarah if she's interested in giving her feedback.
Thank you, Shilpa. I will be very brief because I think the most important was already said. Only one more suggestion. Ravi, your speech was great. I really liked the storytelling. It was funny. I laughed a lot. One suggestion is that you stand up. It gives your speech like, it makes the message more stronger and you capture the attention even more. That's my suggestion. Back to you, Shilpa.
Thank you, Sarah. And if you, Tiger, Alice, Ikshel, if any of you has something more to add, you can please raise your hand. Yes, Alice, please go ahead.
I would like to say that I missed his facial expressions because he wasn't lighted enough. So I didn't see his face, and for me it is very important to see his eyes and his expressions with his face. I believe that he has to work on it. It isn't so much difficult to do that, I believe. That's for me.
Thank you, Alice. And all these suggestions are important not only for Ravi, but for all of us as speakers in Toastmasters or elsewhere. I forgot to mention Deja earlier, so if she has something to add, you can unmute yourself and please go ahead.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Ravi, I don't have much constructive criticism for you, but I do want to compliment you on the simplicity of your speech in that it was very easy to follow. It was not too complicated or used unnecessarily big words for the subject matter that you were discussing. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Deja. So it's a very brave thing to be open to all this feedback from many people. It gives different perspectives, and then we can reciprocate by taking constructive action accordingly. Now, I would like to call upon my other role players, which make this meeting meaningful and successful. First of all, it would be our grammarian, Deja. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Congratulations, Madam General Evaluator. You had the most uses of the word of the day. I believe at least 3 of the use of the word reciprocate. Ravi used it once, Kevin used it once, Ishel twice. Ayu and Tiger didn't have much chance to speak today. For one item that I'd like to point out as far as grammar goes, Alice, at one point you said you wanted to decide for something. the correct use or the correct word to use would be to decide on something. We decide on an action, we decide on a choice. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. It's always good to bring in some addition, grammar suggestion, because it helps us all. I would just like to take the opportunity to point out one thing that is very common in our regular life and as well as in every Toastmaster meeting that I go to. I wanna point this out. No, I want to point this out. I'm gonna not do this again. No, I'm not going to do this again. So try to mindfully skip on the gonas, wannas, and go for the full word that we are going to use, we should use instead. At this point of time, I would like to bring in our very innovative, on-point counter, Sarah, to give her report.
Thank you, Shilpa. I want to congratulate everyone because you really didn't have that much ask. And I will give you just my comments and some small suggestions. For example, Ayu had only some asks. Alice, congratulations, because you spoke in many times and you only had some asks. And I also noticed some sound like something like this. Deja, you had an and sometimes ends. Ravi, also during your speech, it was very, very good. You only had twice, I think, an and during your impromptu participations, also only 2 or 3 times so very, very good. Ichel, your favorite filler word is as well, and sometimes you also use and well. For Kevin, also very good. I also noticed the same as for Alice, this like 2 or 3 times. Chilpa, congratulations, only a couple of times And Jasmine, I think it was in your impromptu participation. Before starting, you start with filler words like so here I recommend you to take the time for the table topic to think about the question and then start with the first sentence right away. That's it for my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah and Deja, for filling us in on those reports. I would, although our timer has put the timings in the chat, but I would like to call upon for a very brief report. And if I'm putting Ayu in the spotlight, I would just read off the timings in the chat. Or is Ayu okay?
Silva, my report will be only 2 persons speak a little bit over time at the impromptu participation. Only 2 persons. Yasmin is 7 seconds and Alice 2 seconds over time. That's all. Everybody doing good job. Thank you, Silva. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ayu, for stepping in. And yes, it's a big achievement. I guess if we can keep our arms in check and our timing in check, things would be so much simpler. Ravi, congratulations to you this time. You last time probably, if I remember correctly, you went overtime, but good job improving upon that. It's a big step forward. And I would like to now sum up by giving my report of the overall meeting. The meeting started about 3-4 minutes late, and that was due to the roles. It's always not the responsibility of the VP of Education, but also the other role players. I would recommend the Toastmaster to step in about 5 to 10 minutes early. That would be great. And overall, the meeting started, then it flew off. It just took off with enthusiasm of Ayu in the beginning, followed by the marvelous and engaging singing of Alice. She kept the flow of the meeting simple. She asked everyone about what was their take on new beginnings. Spring is the time of new beginnings, and it was a very aptly chosen theme. The word of the day was easy to use. The R counter had this marvelous new invention, which is good because it keeps you in check at the spot, on the spot, not only at the end, but on the spot. Our timer had beautiful backgrounds with the fruity theme, and the speaker was good. The evaluation was very clear. Overall, I would say this was a crisp meeting. Everyone responded to the need of the hour, and they took up their roles very well. They fit in really nicely. So I am a very happy person today, beginning my Monday with this fantastic meeting. And not to forget the role of the table topics master. Excel, you are excelling at being a table topics master. My only suggestion is sometimes when you speak, you come in too close to the camera. Right now you are at perfect positioning. So that's really good. And you engaged everyone. You used most of your questions. Everyone got a chance to speak. So that was great. Sometimes if we have a longer meeting, we have more time, any table topics master can try to sum up what everyone said. So that can fill in some time. So give a summary of what everyone said in about a minute. That can be done if we have time. Overall, great meeting. I will pass the podium back to our Toastmaster of the day, Alice, and excuse me if I have missed anything.
Thank you, Silpa, for your evaluation. And I believe I will hand over the control to Ayu, our president. Ayu?
Perfecto. Thank you, Alice, everybody. And with that, I would like to thank everyone again for being very diligent. Every week we meet here in this meeting, the same hours, the same days, and let's adjourn the meeting.